From Giants head coach Brian Daboll. Giants had a first quarter touchdown pulled off the board on a very questionable, ineligible man downfield, in which Daboll absolutely lost a gasket on the sidelines. Giants settle for a field goal. They have a 3-0 lead over the Cowboys, 7:10 to go in the opening quarter. It is Giants' ball after a Dak Prescott interception. It may be looked at on the far sideline. Giants lead 3-0, 7:10 to go in the opening quarter. Giants and Cowboys both sitting in number 2 in the NFC East with 7-3 records. Earlier today, the Buffalo Bills went to 8-3, top spot in the AFC East. 28-25 win over the Detroit Lions. Game effort from Detroit. Bills getting a walk-off 45-yard field goal from Tyler Bass. They pick up the victory. Final game tonight. It'll be the New England Patriots on the road visiting the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota 2.5-point home favorites, according to Caesars Sportsbook. At the World Cup today, Brazil 2-0 win over Serbia. Cristiano Ronaldo became the first man ever to score in 5 different World Cups. He scored in the PK. Portugal 3-2 win over Ghana.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Hey, this is Jay Williams from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. I just wanted to take a second to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at ESPN Radio. Enjoy the holidays.
Hello, welcome to the Collective Podcast. We talk about the NBA. This is our second annual Friendsgiving podcast where we bring a bunch of folks on. We talk a little NBA, see what's going on with them, try to have a good time. Joining me from Philadelphia, from the Wells Fargo Center, a.k.a. the Center, where the Brooklyn Nets had a spectacular showing against the 76ers, missing their 3 best players. Right, Tim Bontemps?
They had a spectacularly pathetic effort in their showing against the Philadelphia 76ers and gave everybody here a nice Thanksgiving present early.
We want this to be a fun, enjoyable pod.
I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of fun dunking on the Nets. And given Kevin Durant said after the game that everybody wants to see our team fail, I think everyone listening is going to have a lot of fun too, because the Nets were horrendous today and lost.
Joining us from Cleveland, Ohio, not me, Cleveland, Ohio, where he's covering the Cavs, again, not me, is Ban McMahon.
Howdy, partners. If you wanted fun and enjoyable, why the hell did you have Bontemps and me on? Wendy, what are you thinking about? How long you been doing this?
This is what the people want, McMahon. Want me and you.
Well, we decided to do the front of this pod after the Ben Simmons return to Philly. The other folks who are going to be joining us, we taped earlier in full disclosure. Before we get to those fine folks, Bontemps, you took in this game, and look, anything can happen in the NBA. I had friends who are in Vegas this week who, hit me up and were like, had bet tonight on the Nets money line, just assuming that was an easy win. I was like, listen, I'm never going to give gambling advice because I know enough to know that I don't know.
You don't make predictions, so how could you give gambling advice? Right. That's called making a prediction.
Here's what I would say. Be very careful trusting the Nets. And yet again, right as they had like a little teeny high, not that the win over the Grizzlies was that great, but those guys out.
Another team missing their 3 best players.
Yeah, but at least they won that one. Tim, their effort defensively was, I don't know, man. Go ahead.
Let me just sum this thing up for everybody. The Brooklyn Nets were fully healthy, playing on the road here in Philly against a team missing Joel Embiid, missing Tyrese Maxey, missing James Harden. Tobias Harris had missed the past few games. He hurt his ankle. He missed part of the second half. PJ Tucker hasn't scored in literally 150 minutes at this point. It's been four or 5 games since he scored a basket.
He was wearing a Rockets uniform last time he got a bucket.
This Sixers team is a mess. The Nets shot 55%.
By the way, they missed some shots in garbage time. I think when they waved the white flag in this game with 3 minutes left, I think they were at 60%.
They finished the game shooting 55% from the field against a team missing their 3 leading scorers. And as you said, they pulled the plug on this game with 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. This was one of the most embarrassing performances from an effort standpoint I've ever seen. It was a joke. The Sixers simply just won this game by just playing hard. They weren't very good. I mean, Paul Reed's out here trying to dribble and like flinging the ball all over the place. He had 19, but he had 19 and 10. He played great. But like, DeAnthony Melton played great, just playing hard. Shake Milton, Tobias Harris, like PJ Tucker. These guys just played so much harder than the Nets, who just don't play hard. Like, on top of the fact that they don't have defensive talent, like we've talked all the time, they don't have size, they don't have defensive talent, right? You can make up for some of that stuff if you just give effort. But this team gives no effort. They don't try ever.
Sometimes
by the way,
they try.
No,
Sometimes
you know
they
what?
try.
You know when they tried? When Edmund Sumner was starting and they had the starting lineup that KD ripped last week for how do you expect me to win with these guys? Which, by the way, they won with those guys on Thursday in Portland. Looked pretty good, playing a pretty
Which is
good
a good
Portland
win,
team.
by the way. It was a good win before Dame got hurt. Dame's hurt.
And KD did walk back that comment.
Of course
basically,
he
I
did.
screwed that up. I didn't mean it. It came
did.
out bad. Not exactly the kind of inspirational speech that you want from your leader, who, oh, by the way, also tried to force his way out of town. Kyrie coming back, really surprised, and that hasn't improved the defensive effort. That didn't give a jolt.
Well, look, this was the
He's
most
known for that sort of a thing.
This was the most emblematic sequence of the game. The Nets are down 10 or 12, I think 12, like just under 4 minutes to go. They try to throw an inbounds pass to Kyrie. It's one of the worst inbounds passes of all time. DeAnthony Melton standing between Kyrie and the inbound pass, literally catches it in between. Kyrie gives a decent effort to come back and try to block the shot. Nobody else comes back. DeAnthony Melton misses the shot. It gets laid in by somebody. I think it was Shake. Kyrie gets the rebound, dribbles down, pulls up for three, shoots an air ball, puts his hand in the air. It's like, oh, yeah, my bad. Jacques Vaughn calls timeout, yanks everybody out of the game. They just quit the game. 3.5 minutes to go. Down 14. It's like,
that pull-up air ball three is my fault. Like, who the hell else's fault might it be?
This game was it was laughable.
All right.
The only
Tell us
final
about
thing I'm
Simmons.
say,
Hold on, he's mid-rant. Like, you can't wind Bond comes up and then stop it. He's like, you gotta let it go.
I didn't like that noise. The only other thing I was gonna say was this game just underscores why this team has no chance. And people are gonna continue to say, oh, they have talent, they can get somewhere, they can make this work, they can figure it out. There's nothing to figure out here. This team it's a ghost ship that's just floating along until eventually these guys start getting traded and, whatever happens to Kyrie and whatever they decide to do with Kevin.
Honestly,
ghost ship with a P. Ship with a P. Because I know people sometimes think you get that foul language.
That's right.
Might have been influenced by those Philly folks.
That's right.
Hey, this is #Greeny, and all the members of the # crew are wishing you and yours a very safe and healthy, happy Thanksgiving. We hope the food is plentiful. We hope the football is awesome. We'll see you back in better than ever. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
In winning teams, every player brings their unique strength and has an impact on the results. The Dallas Mavericks drafted Jason Kidd with the second pick in the 1995 draft. But after 2.5 seasons, they traded him to Phoenix, and he then played for the Nets. It was not until he was 34 when he became a Maverick once again. He was exactly what they needed and became an integral part of a team that went on to win the 2011 NBA Finals over the Miami Heat.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
If your team needed a point guard, you wouldn't waste your time interviewing centers and forwards, right? Well, the same is true for your business. LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 850 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to the most qualified candidates so you can start hiring the right people. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
Starting physical therapy at Mettler Center has never been easier. No doctor's referral is necessary since Illinois is a direct access state, and we are in network with all major insurance providers. At Mettler, we accept Health Alliance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, HealthLink, Medicare, and most recently, Aetna and Cigna. If you are in pain or struggling with an injury, we invite you to schedule a complimentary 30-minute consultation today to see if therapy is right for you. Learn more at MettlerCenter.com.
Looking for a custom design that stands out for your business? Wanting to get your vehicle wrapped but just don't know where to go? It's Aftershock Decals and Designs. From vehicle wraps to building designs, Aftershock creates designs that make heads turn. Heck, they wrap all of Land's heating, cooling, and plumbing trucks and vans. The one where Troy Lands is waving, that's Aftershock. Aftershock Decals and Designs. Heck, they also do signs, banners, even amazing coffee tumblers. Check them out at AftershockDD.com. Flowers equals smiles equals happiness. Think love with flowers. The Blossom Basket Florist can put a smile on everyone's face with a beautiful spring floral creation. Let their flowers make you a hero. Flowers are always affordable for all occasions, from simple to simply magnificent. Visit them online at blossombasket.com or come into their store at 1002 North Cunningham Avenue in Urbana.
The Blossom Basket Florist, the florist you pick.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weaver's Flooring and Furniture Gallery. The best offers of the season are reserved through Sunday only. It's our all three free sale. Get store-wide savings on our best floors. And through Sunday, get a free labor credit on every carpet and floor. Get a $50 labor credit for every 100 feet you buy. That's any carpet, any floor. Our waterproof, versatile luxury vinyl floors, durable and pet-friendly carpet, hardwood, laminate, and more, including our Shaw Floors collection. Beautiful Shaw floors are designed with you in mind. Plus, get the finishing touches for free. Get free accessories or area rugs with your furniture purchase. Minimum purchase required. See store for details. Plus, now you can buy any floor or furniture with special 2 years free financing. Through Sunday only, don't miss the all three free sale with free labor credit. Only at Carpet Weaver's Flooring and Furniture Gallery. We're flooring people.
These days, you don't mind staying up a little late or waiting in line. These days, button-downs turn into t-shirts, and dinner consists of popcorn and a pretzel. These days are about singing and yelling and jumping. These days are game days. Game Day Spirit, where Fighting Illini fans shop.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
The Crisis Nursery Children's Holiday Shop is back. This fun family tradition is taking place on Saturday, December 10th at Orpheum Champaign. Kids up to 12 years old will shop with a volunteer for affordable, fun gifts. Shop after school from 3 to 6 p.m. on Friday, or come out at 8 a.m. on Saturday for our sensory-friendly hour before the shop opens to the public at 9 a.m. Personal shoppers will help your little one stay on budget while they pick something out for everyone on their list. Most gifts are priced between $2 and $10. There's something for everyone. Check crisisnursery.net for more information and celebrity volunteer updates like the U of I cheerleaders, Parkland golfers, and Santa Claus himself. Need to do some shopping of your own? Grab a raffle ticket to win a PS5. Tickets are $20 and only 100 will be sold. Have fun while supporting Crisis Nursery's mission to prevent child abuse and neglect. The holiday shop will be located at the Orpheum in downtown Champaign, 352 North Neal Street. For more details, visit crisisnursery.net.
Congratulations to Sarah Champagne. Sarah Honda has won the President's Award. This is an award recognizing the best Honda dealerships in America. Sarah Honda has achieved excellence in sales, service, and customer satisfaction. When you go into Sarah Champagne, you'll see what winning the Honda President's Award means with their outstanding focus on you. Visit Sarah Champagne and experience excellence with not only Honda, but GMC, Buick, BMW, and Subaru. Sarah Champagne, off Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon, Tay, and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I think people underestimated just how much juice went out of this game, like from who weren't here when Embiid went out. Like if Embiid had been on the court today and it had been Embiid and Simmons was guarding Embiid, there would have been real juice for that. There was no energy in the building for Simmons coming back. Before the game, he's out shooting 60, 90 minutes before the game. There's some fans in the building. I mean, not a ton, but some. And there wasn't a single word uttered while he was out there shooting. Not one boo, nothing. And like he got booed whenever he touched the ball, and they went crazy when he missed 2 free throws to start the second half, and everybody got Chick-fil-A.
They were obligatory boos, though.
Yeah, it was,
the
animosity.
They were going through the motions like the Nets on defense.
Yeah, there was nothing really out of the ordinary from that standpoint. It was just like any other game where a player comes back.
Well, the Sixers
Is there a tribute video?
There was not a tribute video.
Do you remember the
tribute video of the pass?
Do you remember when Kyrie came back to Cleveland, and they were going to do the tribute video, although like the Cavs players were kind of complaining about it, and then Gordon Hayward
snapped his leg in half. Yeah,
and then they just decided like that they weren't going to do the tribute video because they felt that it was bad vibes because of Gordon Hayward injury, and they just never did it.
Well, yeah, because Kyrie then skipped like the next 7 games that the Celtics played.
And then the best. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but you guys know that's what I do. Isaiah Thomas was coming back to Boston, and they wanted to give him a tribute video, which pissed off some of the Boston people, including Rondo. Rondo was like, "We give tribute videos for this now," and Isaiah said, "Actually, please don't play the tribute video now. Play the tribute video on the next time the Cavs come in, because I would like my family to be there to see the tribute video." And the Celtics were like, "Okay, fine." Next time he came back, he had been traded.
Well, it was not that. He came back when he was playing on the Nuggets a year and a half later when he was like out of the league practically. So he was not even hardly playing at all.
I'm sorry. There are some ridiculous tribute videos, but the Celtics playing one for Isaiah Thomas would certainly qualify as a legitimate. Earning of a tribute. I don't screw Boston fans. They got 98 numbers in the rafters. They can play one freaking tribute video for a guy.
Oh, I thought you were saying. I misunderstood. I thought you were saying.
No,
I thought you were saying he didn't deserve
a tribute video.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? You
got
these guys who are like ninth men who got.
He delayed the
tribute contract to get it.
I'm just saying he delayed the tribute video. He just said, "Hey, hold up on that tribute video."
Yeah, Isaiah was the one who said to them, "Wait until I'm playing."
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm just saying, like Rondo acting like, "Oh, what has he done? Gatekeeper and tribute videos in Boston."
That's what he does.
Oh my god. Oh,
Rondo's
man.
probably had about 12 tribute videos the way that he bounced around the league.
Here's what I would say.
I don't think he got one in Dallas.
To try to bring this back to Simmons, I'm sure he didn't get one. I'm sure he didn't get that in Dallas. To bring us back to Simmons, though, while he was decent, had 11, 7, and 11 in the game, thought it was noteworthy he had zeros in all those categories in the fourth quarter when Philly put the game away.
Hey, he did shrug after hitting a couple free throws, though. I mean, come on, you got to give him credit for that.
He did.
He had fun with the situation. It's just
he did. He did.
His team didn't have a whole lot of fun or play very hard, which Jock Vaughn pointed out post game. I saw basically, I'm going to play the guys who play hard. I like the sound of that. All right, that's right. We're going to hold these guys accountable. Is he really benching Kyrie? Come on. Like, I'll believe that when I see it. I'll believe that when the Kings reel off 7 in a row. Oh, wait, they did.
What do we say on the pod, McMahon? What do we say? Actions over words. That's what we say on the pod. Actions over words. That's the motto.
I usually say stuff like, shut up, Bon Timms.
Well, that is true. You say that, but that has become the motto of the pod over the past 6 or 8 months. Actions over words.
What did KD say afterwards?
Oh, I mean, KD said all kinds of things. Our pal, the Laugh Track, sent me sent me some quotes about
That's what he calls
about
Friedel. I don't want you to get too much into.
Everybody knows who the laugh track is.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a hard nickname to figure out. Plus, he covers the Nets. Again, I think we can figure it out. He had a couple gems. This one was good. When NBA fans don't love you, they really got love for you. It's just misplaced love, I guess. But we get it. At the end of the day, people enjoy watching us play. I was like, okay.
That's true.
That was an interesting one. It's true. It's true. I just thought it was funny. This one was good though. But that's in every arena. Everybody wants to see our team fail. Nobody likes Ben. Nobody likes Kai. Nobody likes myself. So it might just be like that at every road arena. And I was like, yeah, it probably will be close to that.
I mean, he's not wrong there.
No.
They are the most dislikable team in the NBA right now. That's
easily
fair. Yeah.
Watch them play.
It's not exactly something that has bonded them together. If it's us against the world,
for their own
the
fans to
world's
watch
kicking
them
their
if they're
ass.
playing. Yeah, it's hard for their own fans to like it when they're playing like they did. It's just
and when
that
it's
was
just
gross.
nonstop ridiculous circus drama that it's been. Since KD, Kyrie, and
Since day one,
the $40 million friend arrived.
Oh, there it is. We got it in. Got the
Hey, the
DeAndre
$40
shot
million
in.
friend dominated the Mavericks the other night, though, had 17 rebounds. And when we're talking about bad losses, the Mavericks losing to the Nuggets without Jokic, Murray, and Gordon, which is
Just
a Mavericks
in case
habit.
people don't know who you're referring to, this has got to be my role. You're referring to DeAndre Jordan.
I think people know.
I think
Here's the thing,
I think a lot of
Wendy,
people.
You
a
know
lot
who
of people.
listens to our podcast? Basketball nerds.
People who also listen
They
to our
get these.
podcast. By the way, DeAndre Jordan,
basketball
cool
nerds
minus
and NBA
DeAndre
personnel, if you want the truth.
Wow. DeAndre Jordan, a cool minus 15, 11 minutes
basketball
tonight,
nerds.
man. Your guy.
It was a tough one. And they
Needed
lost at
Jokic
home
to
to
save him down the stretch.
And it didn't
Oh, they
happen.
did lose.
They did.
Wow.
They lost to the Pistons at home. Jokic and
misread
Murray,
misread
fresh
it.
out of protocols, and Jokic played well. Murray didn't. The bench was, yeah.
Those
not a great
Pistons are
loss
tough
for
on the road.
them. They're known for that. They're known for that.
Is that their first road win? Or
I don't know if they're Warriors bad on the road. Let me look. The Warriors had to go to Houston to get a road win.
Only barely.
Well, there was actually I was talking to somebody with the Warriors. I saw them, and it was like late in the third quarter, and it was a close game. I said, I like your chances against the Rockets in crunch time. The Rockets don't exactly. They're one of like 112, literally one of a whole bunch 3-point shooting in crunch time this year. It's pretty impressive. Let's see. That was the Pistons' first road win.
All right.
I thought they were the only
Everybody
team.
has won on the road except for you guys know
Charlotte?
Who doesn't? No.
Houston?
Charlotte's got a few road wins. No. Houston, they've got 2. I witnessed one of them against the Lucaless Mavericks.
Oh, that's right.
No,
I think the Lakers are still winning.
Orlando?
Yeah, Wendy got it. The first time Wendy's ever won a
Lakers.
trivia question. Hey, are we doing trivia?
I didn't think we were doing trivia because of Friendsgiving, so we were all chopped around.
All right. Well,
Play
there
that
it was.
funky music before the road thing there, Jackson, and we got a trivia question.
Hoop Collective Trivia.
It's the first time Wendy ever won one. It's because he was going against Bond Temps and not me.
Wow.
Well, the Lakers are playing on the road right now. It could not be accurate by the time this pod comes out. So,
I like my chances of remaining accurate.
All right. Well, it was kind of a dud game, but
it's kind of a dud era for Brooklyn.
Hey, everybody, it's Bart and Hahn wishing our listeners a happy Thanksgiving, offering our thanks for all your support and energy throughout the year.
We thank you. We love you. Enjoy the holidays.
Hey, Bart, enjoy that pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie. Always something to debate on our show.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Everyone can boost their digital confidence with NordVPN. All it takes is one simple click. NordVPN will block online trackers, hide your virtual location, and secure your devices from malware-infected files during downloads. It will also detect malicious websites. So catch the Black Friday deal for a 1 or 2 year plan at NordVPN.com and get 3 months for free. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he had a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola. Looking for a custom design that stands out for your business? Wanting to get your vehicle wrapped but just don't know where to go? It's Aftershock Decals and Designs. From vehicle wraps to building designs, Aftershock creates designs that make heads turn. Heck, they wrap all of Land's heating, cooling, and plumbing trucks and vans. The one where Troy Lands is waving? That's Aftershock. Aftershock Decals and Designs. Heck, they also do signs, banners, even amazing coffee tumblers. Check them out at AftershockDD.com.
If you need insurance, you gotta go to Insurance Providers Group. They can help you like they've helped me. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. Insurance Providers Group can get you a quote on all aspects of personal, business, agricultural, life, and health insurance and employee benefits. They represent many insurance companies that allow them to provide you with the most competitive rates and the best coverage. Call Kyle Lewis at 217-352-7080 or email Kyle at IPGINS.com or go to the website for a quote at IPGNINS.com. When you're looking for a business to work with, you choose someone local, someone who's terrific at what they do. A company that helps others in need in Champaign-Urbana, and a company that stands behind what they do. That company is Roof Doctors. Roof Doctors has been keeping the rain out for over 30 years. Randy and Tammy and their family work hard to not only make sure you're 100% satisfied by their work, but that they also strive to have a positive impact on Champaign-Urbana. Roof Doctors in Urbana, they make you their number one priority.
Prairie Gardens is your local winter wonderland. See all the Christmas magic on display with ornaments, decor, wreaths, garlands, and so much more. And big savings this week. Take half off all Christmas silk stems, half off all pine swags, and half off all Christmas ribbon. Plus, find your perfect artificial Christmas tree with the largest selection around and the very best tree guarantee. Prairie Gardens, your Christmas destination for over 50 years.
Hey, Line fans, it's Georgia B and Stevie J Broadcasting, and you are listening to the amazing ESPN Radio 93.5.
Basketball, it's a fight for justice.
My last name is Lee, Bruce Lee.
Stream over 100 documentaries featuring the biggest names in sports, with titles including The Tuck Rule, Be Water, Lance, You Don't Know Bo, and more. The award-winning 30 for 30 library, streaming exclusively on ESPN Plus. Sign up now at ESPNplus.com or get the Disney bundle, including Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus to stream the best movies, shows, and sports. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Justin Fields, or right now, Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins.
Justin Fields. Don't steal my stuff.
I said this the other day and you argued with me.
I did one to Kirk Cousins. I had Justin Fields ahead of Kirk Cousins because I said if you put him on the Vikings get better. If you put Kirk Cousins on the Bears get worse. You know what that means? Justin Fields better than Kirk Cousins.
That's just moved the goalpost a couple times yesterday. That was the problem.
I heard y'all talking about this in the break, and I heard Key making it.
Because that's the point I made. We have tape.
What he said was Kirk Cousins is a 16th quarterback ranked in the National Football League.
Okay.
It was 16.
No, but we're changing it every week. We're doing it every week.
Now
it's fluid.
All right, Stephen, stop. But so in the end, I just said that if I took Justin Fields, I'd rather have him than Kirk Cousins, because if I put him on the Minnesota Vikings,
why the Vikings are not a
because they got some stuff.
Key, J, and Max. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. This
is Sports.
I'm Kevin Winter. The New York Giants have played 5 games on Thanksgiving in their franchise's history, and moments ago, they just had their first touchdown on Thanksgiving since back in 1938 when they had a touchdown against the Brooklyn Dodgers. I know, I'm confused as well, but we'll figure it out together someday. In Dallas at AT&T Stadium, 9:17 to go in the second quarter. Saquon Barkley's 1-yard touchdown run has given the Giants a 10-7 lead over the Dallas Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott has a touchdown run for Dallas. The Barkley touchdown was set up on a 44-yard pitch and catch. Daniel Jones to Darius Slayton, who made a spectacular grab at the goal line. Elsewhere in the NFL, Game 1 of the triple-header goes to the Buffalo Bills. They get a 45-yard field goal from Tyler Bass with 2 seconds to go. They knock off the Detroit Lions 28-25. Bills go to 8-3 on the season, first place in the AFC East. Michael Bagley had tied it from a 51-yard field goal for Detroit, which had a very game effort. Patrick Beverley suspended 3 games by the National Basketball Association for a violent push against the DeAndre Ayton.
Coming up Wednesday, it's the 2nd annual KJM Thanksgiving Food Draft, and someone will undoubtedly take turkey too high. Keyshawn J. Willimax, Wednesday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
All right, joining us now from Los Angeles, our LA-based NBA writer is Om Youngmisuk. Om, how's it going?
What up, fellas? Just watching the Kawhi comeback part 2.
You're going to San Francisco tonight. That's where you'll be spending at least part of Thanksgiving.
Yes. This was supposed to be kind of like, a tasty preview of 2 teams that we all thought would be contending for the Western Conference.
Now it's the play-in.
Still preview. Probably will, but obviously both teams, their seasons have not started off the way we all thought they would.
So, okay, at least Kawhi is back to starting, and he's not doing this nonsense coming off the bench 6 minutes in the second quarter.
Yeah, you can thank Ty Lue for that, Wendy.
How so?
Ty Lue was not a fan of it to start with.
Oh, no kidding. Boy, that's a surprise. It wasn't an organizational decision.
Well, hey, that being said, I was pretty to that point. Were you as surprised as I was when Ty really just launched into that basically full-scale assault on that?
Yeah, I mean, Ty called it nasty. He described it as nasty. He did not like it. He said, he didn't like the idea that B. Shaw would have to come up to him with about 6 minutes to go in the second quarter and say, oh, yeah, Kawhi's ready to come in. And that Ty had basically almost kind of forgotten about it because he was so into the game. And then, even Marcus Morris Sr. had said, I've never in all my years in the NBA ever seen the best player on a team come in with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Now Kawhi's logic was basically he simulated things, being the cyborg that he is, and saw that there were scenarios in which he would sit for 35 minutes real time if he had started the game before coming into the second stint. He didn't want that. He wanted to play in these chunks about 6 to 8 minutes long and be able to finish the game. When you start the game and you're on a 20 to 24 minute limit, right? Sometimes you don't get to play until 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, or sometimes you have to leave with a minute to go because you're on a strict minutes restriction. For him, with that way that he was doing it, he was able to actually play the final 8 minutes of a fourth quarter. He wanted to play the most meaningful minutes in the game, which would be the end of the second quarter, start the third, then end of the fourth. But now he's back to starting. Things are starting to feel a little bit better. But then, of course, with the Clippers, if it's not one thing, it's another thing. They get one star back and the other star's out now. Paul George is injured. So it doesn't seem, everything I've heard is not serious, but of course the Clippers are going to be careful with him. It's like a strained right hamstring tendon, which, is not a strained hamstring, strained hamstring tendon.
I don't know what that is.
Doesn't sound comfortable.
Kawhi's not looking that great though, right?
Kawhi is definitely looking like he is still very much feeling his way in. The other night he tried, I think, to blow by, I think it might have been Lauri Markkanen, and Markkanen blocked him from behind. He's also been getting double teamed. I mean, the Spurs just kept sending him blitzes. They kept blitzing him, and he pretty much right now is just making the extra pass, setting teammates up, picking his moments. But like, here's the thing with Kawhi, and I tell people this all the time. People think like he's like this, he's a forward, but he plays very heavy. Everything he does is powerful and heavy. So when he falls, it's a heavy fall, like the kind of the big man would have. So the last night he tried to go and block a shot late with about like 3 minutes to go. And then when he landed, something went, like I could tell he tweaked something. And where we sit in crypto, I was all the way on the other side of the court, but I could tell he was like kind of like favoring his right foot. And they took a timeout. He went back, and guys were like Marcus Morris with the check on him, and I could see Kawhi didn't look very happy. Well, who knows? Kawhi's Kawhi, but
yeah, does he ever? I was like, how do you know?
So after the game, I see Kawhi. He's got one of those like little when you have a sprained ankle or you just have like that little sock sometimes that you put on that's like a little brace. And so I asked him, I said, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I rolled my ankle. I should be fine." The thing with Kawhi is, you can never tell when he hurt his ACL, like he was, you could tell he landed wrong. And I was like, "Oh, that didn't look good." And then all of a sudden he's walking it off.
He was listed as questionable.
Right. Then the next day.
For the rest of the series.
Yeah. The next day, all of a sudden, is when things start. The Clippers actually said they thought he was okay the night before, the night after. But then the next day, it flared up. So that's the thing with Kawhi. Anything that happens during the game, you have to wait till the next day.
I'm sorry. Here comes the soapbox.
Yes.
The NBA is like not only in bed with casinos, they're looking for more casinos to get in bed with. They're trying to bring the casinos into as many arenas as possible. In a playoff game, a team lists a player with a torn ACL, a vitally important player is questionable. I'm like, yeah, fine with us.
Well, and then we're fining teams for having two-way players play the day of the Kawhi, the day of the Kyrie announcement.
Hold on. Wendy's on a soapbox.
Well, I'm adding to the
floor,
soapbox.
Spread the floor, spot up. If he wants to get the ball up, he'll pass it.
That was
Wendy,
an assist.
Do your thing.
Meanwhile,
ISO mode.
You've got Monty Williams openly saying, and like I like Monty a lot, I respect him, openly saying this week, we're just not going to be telling you the truth about Chris Paul. Chris Paul has been questionable with a quote heel injury.
Right, since he got hurt here the day before the election. He's been out
for 2 weeks. He's been questionable every day. They sometimes have been announcing he's been out more recently when Monty just admitted they were lying. Monty basically came out and said, we are lying on the injury report. We actually know he's not going to play. A certain amount of people know he's not going to play. And certain gamblers are probably knowing he's not going to play. But we're just going to pretend like everything's kosher.
Yeah, we're going to pretend everything's okay, but be alarmed. Be alarmed. What point does that serve?
I'm not saying that you have to announce that exactly the injury with Chris Paul and that you have to like put his medical report out there.
Well, you're supposed to, though. If he's out for weeks, you're supposed to say he's out for weeks. You're not supposed to say, every day we're going to see what it is.
On the other side of things, Wendy, Paul George the other night was ruled out at halftime with right knee soreness that he felt. He had this great first half. He had 5 threes at 21 points. Then all of a sudden doesn't play now. And I'm told, it's nothing serious. He just feels something. We asked Ty, how's Paul doing? Ty goes, I don't know all the details with medical, but I think he tweaked his calf. And I was like, wait a minute. There's right knee soreness. Now it's on his calf. Then yesterday he was questionable before the game, right knee soreness, 12 o'clock or early in the afternoon, ruled out with this right hamstring tendon. So now I'm like, what's going on here? We had 3 different injuries, and they're just
let's go lower body. Do hockey, lower body.
Yeah, let's go Bill Belichick, right leg. Okay, that's it, right leg.
I mean, I do agree that there's some privacy issues that are going to come into play here. Like, I remember when Joel Embiid, I just went and read it because Embiid's got a foot injury again. Like, Sam Hinkie came out and, like, detailed the steps of Joel Embiid's foot injury, like, 5-6 years ago. He's like, yeah, there were 5 doctors, and they took a piece of bone from his hip and put it in his, it was like a medical school level analysis. I'm not saying you have to do that in terms of privacy, but it's just a double standard in the NBA where they, it's kind of like, they investigated the 76ers for tampering with James Harden when they already had to deal with PJ Tucker and Eddie House set up. And they said,
Daniel House, not Eddie House.
Sorry. I'm showing my age, and I also covered Eddie House, Daniel House.
Speaking of guys who spot up.
That's right.
I remember Eddie House's kid was when the Celtics were really good in the 2000s, and Eddie House used to like run down all the way down to the freaking basket standard and wave a towel. And then his kids started coming down there and waving a towel.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
The NBA is telling, sit down on the benches, sit down on the benches. Yeah, but there's like massive corruption in your injury reports. We don't care. Just sit down on the benches.
No, they handle the corruption, like Bontemps said when he so rudely interrupted. They fined the Clippers for those two-way players who played in garbage time, and I don't even remember that.
OKC was the other one.
OKC.
By the way, to be clear, before I'm aggregated for anything, I am not saying that the Clippers were being shady or there are any shenanigans here with Paul George.
Brian was. No, Brian was. You're okay.
Not saying it.
I think the Clippers actually were trying to basically get the right
I'm saying there was a guy with a torn ACL who they listed as questionable.
Yeah, it's a laughable situation.
That's not an aggregation. That is an accurate statement.
Yeah, it's a laughable situation when it comes to the way these teams are doing this stuff. And to your point, Brian, like if you're going to take all this money from these gambling companies, we have now legalized gambling in, 30 states, I think, or 31 states. This should not be an acceptable way to be doing business. But it's the NBA, so I'm sure it'll just continue this way.
Okay, let me just defend the Clippers really quickly on the Kawhi injury listings. In their defense, I'm not sure if their medical staff actually gets to evaluate Kawhi themselves. So maybe they don't know.
Kawhi has his own medical guy.
Hey, this is #Greeny, and all the members of the # crew are wishing you and yours a very safe and healthy, happy Thanksgiving. We hope the food is plentiful. We hope the football is awesome. We'll see you back in better than ever. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up with promo code PLAY. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code PLAY for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Hey, this is #Greeny, and all the members of the # crew are wishing you and yours a very safe and healthy, happy Thanksgiving. We hope the food is plentiful. We hope the football is awesome. We'll see you back in better than ever. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Everyone is ready for Monday Night Football because you have to be ready for an AFC clash.
Football!
Can Watt and the Steelers get the towels waving in Indy? Or will Taylor and the Colts silence the doubt?
Let's take care of it.
Tomlin and the Steelers battle Saturday and the Colts. Ready for football. Steelers Colts. Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Fridays, I help you get ready for the weekend. The biggest stories of the week, as only First Take can present them. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Come for all the glory.
The celebration in Pittsburgh.
All the guts. All the new eras. All the old beefs.
This is what rivalries are all about.
All the Hail Marys.
Rolls it in for 6.
All the hallowed ground.
There is no environment in football like Blacksburg.
All the devotion. All the feels. Come for it all. Watch ACC football all season long on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app.
This is Bart and Hahn.
Is there a star on the helmet for OBJ?
Show me the money if you love me, honey. And the heart is with Von Miller. Oh, he loves him so.
And what Bonnie wants?
Oh, Bonnie gets. I see OBJ in the BUF.
Bart and Hahn, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can listen and watch on the ESPN app. Saturday on ESPN Radio. USC continues their pursuit of a spot in the college football playoff when they welcome surging Notre Dame to the Coliseum.
This rivalry for the last game of the year, and there's a lot on the line for both teams. There's a different feeling about this one.
15th ranked Notre Dame and 6th ranked USC. Presented by Dr. Pepper. Coverage begins Saturday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker.
It's a beautiful time for basketball. I go through the pain like Giannis. Where freaks challenge kings. You know I'm dunking on these pros like LeBron James. We in the rack with the rose and dynasties old and new collide. Steph Curry, I'm a warrior, shot to Lakers Bucks at 7:30 Eastern and Bulls Warriors at 10 next Friday on ESPN, presented by State Farm.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
When the Jets lose a game and the defense holds the opposing team to 3 points for the entire game into the punt return, and you ask your quarterback, your quote-unquote leader of the team, do you feel like you let the defense down? And he says no. He reminds me of a spoiled child. That's the answer of your leader. That's a dude that's going to take accountability. That's a guy that's going to fall on the sword. Like, get out of here, man. That's not a dude I want leading my team. Even if your play on the field doesn't live up to the productivity and the numbers, at least have the locker room. He don't got the locker room talking like that. That's a guy on the island by himself. Why do you want him leading your team?
I just think he's young. He's in New York City. He doesn't really understand the pulse of the media. He's thinking by saying that he's not giving them anything. What he did is he gave them way too much.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Joining us now from a parking deck next to Crypto.com Arena in a hostage video situation in her car.
Yep.
is Ramona Shelburne. Momo, I'm not going to talk to you about the Lakers. I guess McMahon can ask about the Lakers if you want. I'm not talking about the Clippers. I'm not talking to you about your Ben Simmons story that you wrote earlier this week. There's something way more interesting. We had to wait for Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Because, typically we talk about the NBA, but right now something amazing is happening. Your 30 for 30 podcast, The Sterling Affair, on the Donald Sterling situation, is being turned into an FX miniseries, which is by the same people that did the OJ miniseries, the OJ Simpson miniseries. Yep. The same people that did the Versace miniseries.
Yep.
It's filming right now. You are an executive producer. It's going to come out next year, I think, right? What do you were just on the set recently for a cameo. Please tell us about this experience on what it's like to have your stuff being made, and tell us who the actors are playing the people.
Yeah. Okay. So, when I covered this back in 2014, I'm into I like that reality TV. I like the rich people behaving badly. I like I was always into the basketball of it was interesting and how it affected the Clippers and the league. But the off the court stuff was just as interesting. And I would always say to everybody, this is a movie. This is like a mini series. And I live in LA. We make things like that here. And I know people who make things like that. And so I spent a couple of years kind of researching how to take an idea like this and turn it into a scripted series or a movie, and met with some producers, I remember I had a lot of long conversations with Adam Newhouse, who's our director of development here at ESPN, a lot of long conversations with Libby Geist, who used to run 30 for 30 films, Connor Shell, who was also in charge of content.
All right, this isn't an Oscar speech. Don't set all
yes, it is. Yeah,
tell
it
us.
is. I got to do it. I got to do it.
It's got to hit the air first.
The whole thing was, how do we actually turn this from this idea of, hey, this should be a movie, this should be a scripted series, into a scripted series? And I go, it's like that People versus OJ thing. Like, you got to have event casting, who should play Adam Silver? Who should play Donald Sterling? Even you just get excited just thinking about who you would cast as people in these roles. And so every time I would bring it up, everybody goes, that's a great idea. And when we did the podcast, it was a standalone podcast, but it was also with the idea that we would use it as, used to be people wrote books. And now they do podcasts to develop things. Like you just saw the Elizabeth Holmes thing go from podcast to scripted series. And so the last, 5 or 6 years, this has always been the plan, but I never really thought it would actually happen until it actually happened. Right. It's a Hollywood thing and, call me when you were really doing it. And I think last week when I went on set and me and Bill Plaschke were the two reporters in a press conference scene. And Bill Plaschke's like, one of the deans of LA reporters. Okay. If there was a press conference, he was probably in it.
Something am I allowed to say you showed me the page of dialogue that you were there?
Yeah.
The scene described the press conference. It's a press conference at Staples Center. And it described the reporters as being frumpy looking. Or what was the word, Ramona?
It totally did. Slubby.
So you couldn't get your fancy hairstylist to work on you that day.
I did. I said, you know what, McMahon? I totally went and got my hair done. I picked out my best outfit. I even got my facial done because I was like, look, I know what the scene calls for, but this is my big cameo, and I'm going to have one line, and I'm going to
take that for frumpy.
Damn it. I got my roots done. So the best part is, Hollywood is 7 hours on set waiting for your scene to film. And then you go there and we shoot it 35 times to say the same line over and over. And, but like Lawrence Fishburne is playing Doc Rivers, okay, which is great casting. He's so good in this role. And it's really fun. I can't show you any pictures of what he looks like when they dress him up and get him all looking like Doc, okay? But he looks like Doc. He really looks like Doc. He doesn't quite do the voice. He doesn't, we talked about the Doc voice, and he goes, I'm going to do a little of it, but if I do too much, it's going to sound like I'm trying too hard, right?
Yeah, plus he's got to do every scene 30 times. He'll never make it through the shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he'll have permanent Doc voice.
Exactly. But he really nails Doc Rivers, like especially in the press conferences. Plaschke and I were kind of like, Doc's like a college football coach. He learns your name, and he knows who the important reporters in the room are. He's like a MC, master of ceremonies. And so like we kind of, I don't want to say we coached him up, but we gave him some good notes, I think. And Lawrence just totally nailed it. Like he just was like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Bill, what do you got for me? And I was like, it's like talking to Doc Rivers. It's unbelievable. It's like he really sounds like him. He's got him down. Not quite the rasp. I'm gonna be real about that, but you sort of, I felt like I was in a real Doc Rivers press conference.
Okay, so you're burying the lead. I know it's been announced in like Date and Variety and whatever, but our listeners probably don't know. So Lawrence Fishburne is playing Doc Rivers. Who is playing Donald Sterling?
Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy himself, and he's freaking great. Like. I went to the table read, and you hear Ed O'Neill, and and I know the casting process and who the other actors who we looked at. Some of it's availability, some of it's just like when you get a feel for the character, do they feel like the character? Like what's their take on it? And Ed O'Neill he's got it. He knows how to.
Clippers playoff series. Sometimes availability of the stars is a problem.
Yeah, but like Ed is really like. When they brought his name up to me, I was like, I had never thought of him. And then when they said his name, I was like, oh, that's great. Like it's like one of those out of left field calls. And I just said, he's really got that, what's the right word I'm looking for? Can I say
creepiness?
Like, yeah, there's a mixture. It's like a mixture of like creepy, Liberace, like there's
really
a sort of
nails that rich sleaze factor.
Yeah, there you go. But he's also but Donald is really smart too. Like you have to get the I mean he's a billionaire many times over. So like you have to nail that part of it too. And then the part that I can't say too much about because I would be giving away a lot of plot points. but the actress playing V. Stiviano is unbelievable. Like that was one of the fiercest casting battles that I have seen, because I know a lot of the names that they tried out, and a lot of them were really good. And the woman they cast is a woman.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your vehicle and budget. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Pre-Mixed Antifreeze and Coolant. Now just $3.99 after mail-in rebate. Limits apply. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit .com/MBA. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Bart and Hahn.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. You never realize how much you rely on the plumbing in your home until something goes wrong. A small leak can end up with a big repair if it's not taken care of right away. At the first sign of trouble, visit landsinc.com. While there, learn more about plumbing, drain cleaning, and underground solutions. At Lands Inc., our commitment is to you, the customer. We look forward to having you be a part of the Lands family. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
'Tis the season for fresh-cut Christmas trees and greens to bring the sweet scent of holidays to your home. And at Prairie Gardens, you know you'll get your perfect fresh-cut Christmas tree with balsams, Fraser firs, and more. And incredible fragrant wreaths, fresh evergreen boughs, and garlands, all at prices you'll love. Plus, poinsettias fresh from the greenhouses. Exclusively at Prairie Gardens, extraordinary gardening, home decor, framing, and...
Ho, ho, ho! Totally Christmas!
There's a lot new at Merle Norman. Shop now to receive a free Hidden Treasures gift with purchase. 4 trial-sized products for prepping and setting your makeup are available while supplies last at Merle Norman, 706 West Market View Drive, off North Prospect in Champaign. Your gift is free with the purchase of 2 or more Merle Norman cosmetic products. Cosmetic accessories not included. Offer valid while supplies last at participating Merle Norman Cosmetic Studios. Limit 1 per customer. We reserve the right to substitute individual components.
ESPN Radio Extra Point with Courtney Cronin.
I just think from the quarterback to stand up there stone-faced post-game, still in uniform, and say no, a one-syllable answer to a very complex issue that's going on right now with the New York Jets. Let's think about, his performance in this. He completed 41% of his passes, 44 passing yards in a game. The defense allowed 3 points. This unit is elite. No one's questioning that whatsoever. And I disagree. I think Robert Saleh actually had a really good game plan, considering that Jets pass rush is absolutely lethal. They hit Mac Jones 8 times. They sacked him 6. It wasn't on the defense, so I wouldn't have been surprised to not have seen the blame being placed elsewhere. But you're a quarterback in the NFL, man. You got to take accountability for that. That's what people want to hear from the face of the franchise.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello,
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, When you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Kevin Richard. Dak Prescott has thrown his second interception here in the first half, and the Dallas Cowboys trailed the New York Giants on Thanksgiving Day by a count of 10-7, and closing in on halftime at AT&T Stadium in Big D. Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions in the first half. Ezekiel Elliott, 1-yard touchdown run. Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley, touchdown run as well for the New York Giants. They're just scoring 10-7, 29 seconds to go. Giants have the ball. They've gone into Dallas territory, leading by 3 with 1 minute to play, 29 seconds rather to play in the opening half. Game 1 of the triple header here on Thanksgiving Day. So the Buffalo Bills getting a 45-yard field goal by Tyler Bass with 2 seconds left to go, and the Bills knock off the Lions 28-25. Buffalo goes to 8-3 on the season. Detroit drops to 4-7. Final game of the triple header, the Patriots 6-4 on the road visiting Gate 2 Minnesota Vikings. They'll kick 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Minnesota 2.5-point favorite. Neymar left today's match for Brazil with an ankle injury. He was crying on the sidelines. Brazil 2-0 win over Serbia. Meanwhile, the NBA suspend Patrick Beverley 3 games for pushing.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Hey, this is Jay Williams from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. I just wanted to take a second to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at ESPN Radio. Enjoy the holidays.
We got a real simple plan. 1 me and 1 mission.
Georgia has won the national championship. Touchdown! If you're a fan, you might think this is sports heaven. This might be college football heaven.
This is ESPN's College Game Day podcast. Now alongside Pete Thamel, here's Reese Davis.
The top 4 remains the same in the latest college football playoff rankings. Coaching contract extensions come, and what about Clemson? Are they being overlooked? This is the College Game Day podcast. We wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. Reese Davis and Pete Thamel here. So, Pete, the top 4 in the college football playoff rankings stay exactly the same. What they did over the weekend was the closest margin of victory in the history of the playoff for weeks in which the top 4 teams have been perfect. They won by a grand total of 26 points. Wasn't too bothered by it. LSU ranked 1 spot ahead of USC, so a 2-loss team threatening and on the doorstep of being able to get into the playoff if LSU could win the SEC. Did you have any big reaction to the rankings that you saw?
Yeah, my big reaction, Reese, was my pride in you trying to use a crowbar to get a decent answer out of Boo Corrigan. And he said to you, the Latin translation was, I'm just here so I don't get fined. In other words, the lingering tension of this weekend is obviously if the loser are the Buckeyes and the Wolverines, 2 versus 3 in the Big House, both 11-0, undefeated first time meeting since 2006. If the loser gets in the game, and that is the biggest question hanging over the sport. And you certainly recognize the moment and, challenged Boo Corrigan to a follow up, and he gave you the Heisman, 2 weeks before the ceremony. So, and I understand both sides. Journalistically, you did absolutely the right thing in asking the question America wanted to know. And if I'm Boo, I'm not putting my money on any horses right now. So he bites me later. So it was an amusing back and forth. So yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah.
And the thing is I because I've done this every year of the playoff, I know what they're up against. And the stock answer they always give you that I tried to navigate around was that we don't look forward. So there's no way you could just ask him about the loser. So you have to find a way to ask him how they evaluated them up to this point and what they could withstand or something of that nature, because the 2 things that will trip you up, because it's just normal conversation to talk about conferences. And you have to word it in such a way where you ask about schedules, because they'll fall back on that. We don't evaluate conferences. We evaluate each individual team, and they will never project. And you understand that because it can, as you rightly said, it could paint them in a corner. But I think it's really obvious, at least to me, barring a bunch of teams losing and melting down and Michigan being the only remaining choice should it lose Saturday. Michigan is not in a good place to be able to lose the game and still have a strong case. Ohio State's case would be stronger in the event that they lost a close game to Michigan on Saturday.
I agree with that completely, Reese. And I think that Ohio State's case with a loss gets even stronger if Notre Dame upsets USC. That would be a dual power because it would knock USC out of the conversation completely. And it would add to the credibility of Ohio State's non-conference schedule. If they were to lose to Michigan, then obviously they wouldn't go to the Big Ten title game. And, they'd lack that. But I do. It's hard to just say it's going to be like white hat, black hat, right? Like Ohio State loses, they're in. Michigan, because and this is what we get so caught up in the playoff and absolutes, and then chaos unfolds every week, and it's sort of this pattern of like, there's no chance USC's in the playoff. USC's a favorite to go, like it's just, but this makes the sport great, right? Irrational reactions and such, but. Yeah, I really do think that look, this is going to be the most watched game of the year this weekend. Game day is going to be there. We're fired up for, what'll be the best 3 hours for us this season. There's no better content than undefeated, century-old rivals with the stakes being high, a historic tinge with this, with, the playoff evolving and changing and the Big Ten, divisions evolving and changing. So it's just, there is a little bit of I've covered a bunch of these games over the years. They're always special. I mean, every time you can watch Ohio State, Michigan, it's special, but I do feel like there's an aura around this game that makes it like a once a decade special or maybe even generationally special. So, a lot of eyes will be on this game, and I really think that the tenor of how it unfolds will go. And I think we'll probably talk a little bit more about this game today, Reese. I have a breakdown on ESPN.com, and I talked to 15 coaches and scouts about it. None of them think anyone's going to blow anybody out. Let's be honest, right? Like this is special teams, field goal, run game, one possession. The weather's going to be a factor. It's going to be all that. So, the playoff stakes are just one of many subplots in what's going to be one of the juiciest games that I really think I've ever covered.
It's one of the things that I want to capture early in the show, maybe even in the scene set, what you alluded to. And the thing that's running through my mind is that we may never come this way again with Ohio State and Michigan. You say, it's hyperbole. You're overreacting to this. But here's what I mean. This is the fourth time that these two teams have met with perfect records. There's one more undefeated versus undefeated, but Michigan had a couple of ties in 73, I think, off the top of my head. That may be wrong, and I'm sure the Buckeyes will tell me if it is. But the point being is that it's rare enough in these circumstances that you have the high stakes games. But you mentioned the Big Ten changing divisions. The playoff is going to expand potentially in 2 years. And whereas Ohio State has had to live with that loss in Ann Arbor for just shy of 365 days, Michigan's getting ripped off by a week, just the way the calendars fall and are right in that neighborhood. It could be that in future years that the bragging rights for the regular season game last 6 days until you play 7 days later in the Big Ten championship game. And then maybe that would last nearly a month until you potentially meet again in the playoff. So to capture what this means, and this is really the epitome of what you and I've talked about a few times on this podcast, that the winner take all stakes, or the winner at least taking most and maybe all, some of that is about to be lost. And I don't want to sit there and bemoan the fact that it's being lost. On Saturday morning, I want to celebrate that for what it is. Two great old rivals with a high stakes, potentially season-making versus season-devastating game on one day that everybody will have to live with for a year. And it's fantastic. It's nerve-wracking if you're on either side of it, both as a player, coach, or a fan. But for those of us who are just watching, it's spectacular.
So the 30 for 30 will be called the last great regular season game.
Well, maybe we'll have another one somewhere in the next year or two. And
who's the Midwestern Wright Thompson who can do the voiceover?
Yeah.
Ryan Day was not born on third base.
But, there will still be great regular season games. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that by definition, the stakes are going to be different. And if you don't have divisions, then how many years is it going to be they're going to turn around and play again? Now, we say that, and maybe it won't happen because, that's how these things go.
Here's an interesting little philosophical twinge to that. These teams have always met, late November. This weekend, I think. This game, if this game was played on September 18th, it would like my body clock would go off. It would just be the weirdest thing ever. And I saw Gene Smith said publicly this week that he hopes that the date stays, in the final weekend of the year. That just feels right. I don't know. Do you think that changes?
I don't think so. I hope not. We need to hold on to some tradition. Now, I know in the state of Oklahoma, Bedlam's important, but it's not Michigan and Ohio State in the grand scheme of things. And they've sort of messed with Bedlam a little bit by moving it a week early because they were worried about them rematching. I think you just play it on the traditional day. And if you rematch, you rematch, because there'll be plenty of years there'll be plenty of years that you don't. Some years it's going to kind of stink. Some years when that does happen, or I don't know if stink's the right word because it could just be two great games. It could diminish what the regular season means, particularly if you have a situation where both have already clinched a spot in the Big Ten championship game and both, for all practical purpose, would have a spot in the playoff. That could really give it a late season NFL feel to it that, we really could do without.
Hey, this is #Greeny, and all the members of the # crew are wishing you and yours a very safe and healthy, happy Thanksgiving. We hope.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Dell's Black Friday event has arrived with select deals on top tech to power any passion. The savings start now with up to $400 off on select XPS and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL, 877-ASK-DELL.
What kind of bedside manner would you like your doctor to have? At Roof Doctors, they make sure you feel good about what they can do for you. They make sure they answer all of your questions and feel comfortable about whatever procedure your roof needs. Roof Doctors has helped customers for over 30 years. Randy and Tammy have helped make lives better in our community with their generosity and kindness. Roof Doctors is a company you can trust if you need anything done on your roof. Roof Doctors in Urbana. They make you their #1 priority.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it's important to work with experienced agents. Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at RE/MAX Realty Associates have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at RE/MAX. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
ILLINI. Cheer on the Illini at Pia's. The pregame fun starts at Pia's Sports Bar and Grill. Pia serves up its famous 10-ounce Slugger Burger along with great wings and so much more. Enjoy 350 22-ounce light and Coors Light drafts every home and away Illini game. Watch the game at Pia's. You'll find it all at Pia's with live video gaming, sports, food, drinks, and fun. See you at Pia's, West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
Need a little good news in your life? State Farm has new lower car insurance rates in Illinois, so you can now get the service and convenience of State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow at an even better price. That's right, State Farm can help you save more cash and get the good neighbor service you deserve. It's the real deal for car insurance. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is ready to help you save in Champaign-Urbana. Call Kurt today at 352-1411. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
These days, you don't mind staying up a little late or waiting in line. These days, button-downs turn into t-shirts, and dinner consists of popcorn and a pretzel. These days are about singing and yelling and jumping. These days are game days. Game Day Spirit, where Fighting Illini fans shop.
Carl works every day to improve the health of community members across the region, and it would not be possible without team members like Dwayne Linton, a nationally certified nurse in the emergency department at Carl Foundation Hospital.
I work with a team of people who really care about what they do and are very flexible and adaptive in rapidly changing critical situations, and I would trust any of them at any time.
If you're looking for an opportunity to serve your community like Dwayne in a supportive environment, visit carl.org/careers.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com. PDR Automotive in Urbana has been providing quality auto repair service for almost 50 years. Trusted by AAA Motor Club, PDR employs ASE certified technicians that use the latest in diagnostic equipment. They offer nationwide warranties and are even authorized to perform vehicle maintenance that won't void your factory warranty. Check them out 24/7 online at pdrauto.com. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B. Catch my boys Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Drive. Boom, boom, brr.
I'll give you the quick Bedlam comp here. Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan has won 59 games. Ohio State has won 51, and there's been 6 ties. So you would say that's generally fairly even for a century of people playing football. Mm-hmm. Old Bedlam is 91-19.
Yeah.
Sooners over Cowboys. So it's just again, I am not going to discount in the state of Oklahoma how important Bedlam is, just like I would never discount the Civil War or whatever they're calling it now in Oregon, or the Egg Bowl. I mean, in those communities, this weekend is actually what makes college football great. We talk a lot on this podcast about what makes college football great, and we love about it. But there is nothing better than just relentless rivalries after rivalry after rivalry, just unfolding. And you got the split marriages, and you've got the families divided. And I mean, that to me, you know, Patriots Jets just doesn't touch that as a rivalry, if that makes sense. It's just one of the best parts of the sport as it unfolds this weekend. But the unique part of Ohio State, Michigan is it's that type of searing rivalry, but the stakes often transcend to national. And you know, there's been few meetings, if any, that have higher stakes nationally than this one.
Oh, and nobody has met more often as top 5 opponent. And we are recording this podcast, so it's going to be too late. But the Ohio State fans and the Michigan fans cannot bother to tweet. The 73 game I mentioned finished in a tie. It was 75 that both came unbeaten, but Michigan was like 8-0-2, I guess, or anyway, they had 2 ties, but they were unbeaten. So there you go. So there's the cleanup on aisle 4 for that one. You mentioned talking to coaches, and this was a tremendous piece, both your written word on ESPN.com and the way you helped us fashion and formatted the piece that we did before the Tennessee-Georgia game on game day, which took quotes from coaches who knew both teams, outline strengths and weaknesses where they thought particular advantages might lie. And then our guys react to it, whether they agree, disagree. They can illustrate it with videotape, whatever it is. And we're going to do that again Saturday on game day. You did the legwork on this by talking to all of these coaches who were involved. What was something that you discovered that maybe surprised you or you didn't expect to hear in preparation for this game?
I'll give one on each side to be balanced and fair to our rivalry we're discussing here. So we obviously know Michigan has a good offensive line. All right, that's not breaking news. They won the Joe Moore Award last year. They may be better this year with Big Olu coming in at center from Olu Atimi. I know you're a big enunciator, so I just want to make sure I land the plane on that for you, Reese. He's the starting center who's an excellent player at Virginia, and he came and has melded in and really is their best NFL prospect on that line and has really elevated it some. What was surprising to me was that the reverence in which coach after coach spoke about that offensive line in terms of how it played together. It brought back the Brett Bielema borderline erotic quote from a post game back in Fayetteville many moons ago. Then these coaches started talking about the sum being greater than the parts and how they ran inside zone and the symmetry and how precise and well coached they were, and just how the whole unit rose together. Like, I was blown away because I obviously knew, and if you watch Michigan, they clearly have a good offensive line. Blake Corum's special. One thing they said actually is that he's small enough where he kind of hides behind some of those dudes, so he can be hard for linebackers to find, and then all of a sudden he's gone. But that was really the coach after coach. That was really the hallmark of this Michigan team, was the synchronization of that offensive line. I think that's the right word. So, and one of the cool things about the segment when we did it for Tennessee, Georgia, other than me still getting trolled on Twitter because somebody said that Tennessee was going to score 50, was
not like you said it, you know,
was how you guys brought it alive, right? Like, you guys were able to on the Zotron, you were able to take the clips, and David Pollack was able to show what the coaches were saying. I thought that was like a really powerful way to get that across. So I'm excited for that for Saturday. And I have a feeling that somebody's going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. as the guy they want to illuminate. So on the Ohio State side, again, not breaking news that Marvin Harrison Jr. is good, elite, etc. What was interesting, we've hinted at it on the podcast a little bit here, was a scout gave me an interesting argument of why he could end up as the number one pick in the draft next year. Now, will he be number one? Probably not. Caleb Williams, Drake May. I mean, those guys are, fashioning themselves to be Luck RG3 type, quarterback draft year. But that said, the part of the argument that I thought was very interesting was because the passing game has really just ushered itself to the forefront in football. Remember when the Bengals took Jamar Chase, everyone went, oh my God, the Bengals took Jamar Chase. Like, this is the Bengals being the Bengals, right? It's like their worst pick since they took Pollock in the first round. And that was a joke. But really, they took Jamar Chase and went to the Super Bowl. And Jamison Williams is injured, and he went 12th. So just like we had a recalibration of running backs falling in value, the scout predicted we have a recalibration of receivers increasing in value. So if you have a quarterback, you don't hesitate to take Marvin Harrison in the top 3. Whereas 10 years ago, if you took a receiver in the top 3, everyone would say you're nuts. But not only is he elite, until last week, he may have had a drop against Maryland on like a attempt at a circus catch. But yeah. I was told he did not have a drop all year. He's done unbelievable circus catches, and he's like the most respected guy in the building in terms of work ethic, everything. So he's, again, there's no perfect prospects, but as a receiver, he's shaping up to be a guy who could be a top 3 type pick, or maybe even the first pick in the draft, which was pretty cool to hear those scouts really consistently go through, especially the parts where how respected he was by the coaches and the strength coaches.
On the subject of the drops, I know the play you're talking about because, Joe and Greg, I'm pretty sure Joe and Greg called that game. Joe Tessitore and Greg McElroy and do a fabulous job. And they were talking about, that may go down as a drop. And I was like, well, that's not even fair because, I mean, when you think drop, you think of one you probably should have caught.
You think of the TCU tailback in the 2-point conversion. That's a drop.
And I'll even go a little farther, some tough catches. something that was near humanly impossible that he almost somehow caught, but got his hands on it and didn't finish it. I hope they didn't give him one on that, because that was he's just been spectacular and amazing. I ran across this. The last time Michigan won in Columbus was 2000. Do you know what the head coach of the Buckeyes was doing the last time Michigan won in Columbus?
So Ryan Day and I are about the same age.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older. So my guess would be he was the starting quarterback for the UNH Wildcats.
That's exactly right. Under the direction of his offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly.
Yes. And we should not forget Sean McDonald, who just retired, who started a coaching farm up there in Durham, New Hampshire. I actually took a trip to Durham once to do a story on Chip when he was the OC at Oregon. So it was way back in the day. Sean McDonald, one of the best humans in all of football that I've met. And it was startling being in Autzen Stadium one week and then being in Durham the next week, where they have a got milk is like their big thing, not a swoosh. Like it's a little bit different there. Can I tell my favorite Ohio State Michigan rivalry story?
Please do.
So one of my favorite stories I did while working at Sports Illustrated, remember that they have that Where Are They Now issue?
Mm-hmm.
So I went and spent like 2 days with Drew Henson, who was a baseball scout at the time. I think he might be an NFL scout now. Anyway, Drew Henson, wonderful guy, relentlessly interesting. And I'd never scouted a baseball game. So we went to, it was like Clearwater or Tampa, somewhere down there. Met Drew. We had lunch. Great interview. Was reflective on his football, baseball careers. The great Drew Henson stat is that he has 1 hit and 1 touchdown pass for his entire career in major. Like, that is the statistical probability of that happening is just, 1 in infinite, right? But Drew Henson's best season of baseball came in Columbus, and he had beaten Ohio State as the Michigan quarterback. And he told me and to use her effing time he went to the plate for the entire season, it might have even been 2 years, he got booed by fans in Columbus, even though he was playing for
Columbus.
Yes, because he played for Michigan.
Yeah.
Every single time he's like, it got old. It got really old. I'd walk up in the middle of July and be like, really? My third at bat, you're booing me? That is petty, Reese. That is the petty we admire.
We like the petty in the rivalries, and he was the starting quarterback in that game.
Yes.
I mentioned the last time they won there. So
how about that?
They won in the back-to-back. The last time they won back-to-back against the Buckeyes, it was Brady 99 and Henson in 2000.
O'Reilly. Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. Right now, get up to a $20 gift card after a mail-in rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs. Plus, get double O Rewards points with your purchase. Prepare for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Is your plumbing system showing signs of cracks, sewer water infiltrating your basement wall? How about the things you can't see, like your underground drain and sewer pipes? A Lands sewer camera inspection and exclusive pipelining process can restore old pipes to like new quality with very little intrusion of your yard, and most projects can be completed in a day. Once installed, this will give you peace of mind that your underground drain and sewer pipes will be protected from root and water infiltration and increase the structural integrity with a one-piece liner. Visit landsinc.com to learn more. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Find your perfect artificial Christmas tree at Prairie Gardens. With so many styles and sizes from which to choose, the area's largest tree selection is waiting for you. Your expert will guide you to a tree that's just right, from the lights to the style to the just perfect size, at prices you'll love and the very best tree guarantee. 'Tis the season to find your perfect artificial Christmas tree at Prairie Gardens. Extraordinary gardening, home decor, and totally Christmas.
Hey, this is Ben Grice from the Humble Hog in downtown Paxton, and grilling season, it's here. Are you ready? If you're a seasoned barbecue pro or a total amateur, take your meal to the next level. We've got our sauces bottled and ready to go. We've got rub, the best spices to take your barbecue to the next level. Or if you've got a big crowd, we even have extra meat. Dine in or take it home. It's super quick. You can order our sauces and our rub online at humblehogbbq.com.
Wouldn't it be nice to visit a car dealership where you didn't feel like you were at an auction? Or didn't feel like you were being taken to the cleaners?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Welcome to Sarah Champagne. At Sarah, they offer a one-price promise. Every vehicle at a fair price, no negotiation, only the best price. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, GMC, Buick, and Subaru. SERRA Champagne.com. If you're not familiar with Lifeline Connect, this is a program that helps men get off drugs and alcohol. They do a tremendous job with their 24 beds. Funding the Dream is a series of luncheons where you can go enjoy a lunch for free and see the dorm and learn more about how you can help Lifeline Connect. For more information, simply go to lifelineconnect.org and you can help change lives and generations. lifelineconnect.org, healing men in the name of Jesus.
Hey Illini fans, it's your girl Chineo Gumike. Catch Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Rush is absolutely lethal. They hit Mac Jones 8 times. They sacked him 6. It wasn't on the defense, so I wouldn't have been surprised to not have seen the blame being placed elsewhere. But you're a quarterback in the NFL, man. You got to take accountability for that. That's what people want to hear from the face of the franchise.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with Autosave. And Joe C's Chase Banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you, brother.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Witcher. Third quarter is underway in Big D. Middle game of the triple header here on Thanksgiving, this Thanksgiving holiday for the National Football League. Giants with a 13-7 lead over the Dallas Cowboys. All the scoring coming in the first half. Saquon Barkley has touchdown run, the difference in the ball game right now, a couple of field goals. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys has been picked off twice. Giants 7-3, Cowboys 7-3, Giants lead 13-7. 3 minutes gone by in quarter number 3. Meanwhile, earlier this afternoon, the Buffalo Bills getting a 45-yard field goal at the horn. With 2 seconds left to go from Tyler Bass. 45 yards out, Buffalo knocks off Detroit 28-25. The Lions had tied the game with 23 seconds to go, but Josh Allen engineered a 4-play, 48-yard drive in 21 seconds. That allows Buffalo to pick up the 28-25 victory. Bills go to 8-3. They have the top seed in the AFC East as of right now. AFC East, New England 6-4 on the road visiting the Minnesota Vikings. Final game of the night, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Minnesota, according to the Caesars, 2.5-point favorite. Brazil, 2-0 win over Serbia today at the World Cup.
Coming up Wednesday, it's the second annual KJM Thanksgiving Food Draft, and someone will undoubtedly take turkey too high. Keyshawn J. Willimax, Wednesday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
So if Blake Corum is not 100% or can't go, I mean, I really feel like, I know Donovan Edwards has also been hurt. That changes everything for Michigan because Ohio State's found another back, maybe not as dynamic as Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson if they can't go. But, I think that if Michigan doesn't have their guy, then this idea that they're going to use that offensive line, they're going to run the inside zone, the most difficult play a lot of coaches will tell you to run in the running game and run it consistently, but you need Corum and his experience and running the right track and finding the holes and slipping through tackles and all the things that he does so exceptionally well. I think it's going to be really almost impossible for Michigan to control the game without him, and certainly without the two of them. Would you agree with that?
I would. And I think every coach I talked to about a path. So 10 of the coaches and scouts picked Ohio State, 5 picked Michigan. I thought that was more that picked Michigan than I would have thought. Again, it's a 7.5 point favorite. It's on the road, right? They haven't won there in 2 decades. So I thought that was it. But every path was control the game, grind the clock. And people were really, really high on Michigan's special teams. Now, it's funny. I did most of these interviews before last week. So Jake Moody again reminds us, that he's one of the elite kickers we have in college football. And then people call the Ohio State special teams passive. Of course, Lathan Ransom blocks a punt that changes the game, and he blocks a punt for the second year in a row. Now, it was the first time Ohio State against Indiana. It was the first time they blocked a punt since 2019. So they do not inherently put pressure on you on special teams where the coaches were adamant that Michigan does. But I think, too, Reese, you mentioned the injuries. Mike Morris didn't play last week, who's Michigan's top edge rusher. Schoonmaker, the tight end, who's really like a sixth appendage, like a sixth offensive lineman. Scouts really liked him. I did not think, some of these scouts even said, hey, he could fly into the first round. Like they really thought because he has downfield playing ability and also is a bruising blocker, he's kind of a rare double. And I know he was good, but I didn't think of him as, first round, second, certainly first 2-day prospect. So there'll be, again, this is more for me than anyone else, but with Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum, Trevor Keegan, one of their guards, didn't play against Illinois. Like there's just a lot, like there's a lot of lingering variables here that makes it hard to talk about this game in absolutes. Just like Mayan Williams, obviously, we don't know his status. There was some optimism there, but we won't know till this week. And then obviously Travion Henderson played against Maryland, but he did not look like Travion Henderson. He had 4 negative carries. He just didn't look like himself. So, but I don't think Michigan is going to win this game if J.J. McCarthy has to, drop back 42 times and try to pick Ohio State apart. I just don't think that's how it is. I think they need to methodically squeeze the life out of the Buckeye offense, starting with the run game.
I think that McCarthy's going to be a really good college quarterback, maybe more than that at some point. But I don't think that point is here yet. Yeah. Passing the ball, but he's a really good athlete, and maybe a little more with the stakes being so high, maybe a little more or even more J.J. McCarthy run on Saturday will be something that they use. And as it pertains to Ohio State's running back situation, Dallin Hayden was terrific. It was against Maryland, a little different than doing it against Michigan, but certainly he had to gain some confidence if he is the guy who is called upon for the bulk of the carries on Saturday. He's, he had 3 touchdowns, 143 yards, first guy with 100 yards rushing in the second half, since Henderson did it last year. And I know they'd love to have their 2 big guys, but the freshman has shown that he can carry his weight in the backfield for Ohio State.
Yeah, and I think the most promising thing about Hayden's performance was not only it gives him another option, or maybe even an option, right? Mm-hmm. But also he ran slippery. I thought that was the best way to describe him. He had no negative carries and really was just able to. Ohio State's going to have a hard time winning this game if they can't run the ball. Now, they have a talented offensive line. It was interesting. All the coaches and scouts, nobody thought Michigan's O-line was more talented than Ohio State's. You've got, obviously, DeJuan Jones, who's a sequoia, right, at 6'8", 363. You got Paris Johnson, who Mel Kiper has as a top 10 pick. You have 5 linemen who are all probably going to get drafted, but there was just not that same synchronization. Now, people were very clear to note that they improved with Justin Fry being hired from Greg Strawara. Like there was a noticeable uptick, but it was not to the same level. And some of that, I think, is like Ohio State's an outside zone team. They don't pride themselves on like the sort of tough physical interior runs because they're just more of a spread team. And quite frankly, they have dudes who can scoot on the outside. So it probably behooves them to run that way. So obviously your run game is going to be structured around your talent. But this cannot be one of these like Ryan Day tries to score 60 games. I think there has to be some semblance of balance, which their whole offseason overhaul, bringing in Jim Knowles, putting an onus on competitive stamina, which I think was their like kind of new age version of toughness. I think a lot of this was geared towards this game. And I really think it is a referendum on all those things. Because if you go out and lose by 2 touchdowns again, and they run a 300 burger down your throat on the ground and average 7+ yards a carry, all that is probably going to be remembered as empty rhetoric. So that I think that's why the stakes are pretty fascinating here in a lot of ways, because Ohio State literally re-engineered their entire program to stop the run in this game, right? And to be better in this game. So in that story, there's some fun ESPN stats and info stats of like how Knowles has gotten better, pressuring the quarterback, like getting pressure. They're number 2 in the country. Stopping runs under 5 yards. They went from the 60s to like the 30s. Like, so there's a ton of cool, tangible evidence of how much better. And quite frankly, I think they went from 59th to 9th in total defense, right? So the pesky old analytic yards, they allow less of them now. But I think a lot of that progress will not be remembered if they don't have one more point on the scoreboard at the shoe on Saturday.
And they responded. And Michigan, now this is kind of what Harbaugh's always wanted to do, or has always done when he was, at Stanford and then early in the days in Michigan. But they seem to come to the realization that they're not going to necessarily go out there and start beating Ohio State for all of these recruits. So they were going to find a different way. And it's very reminiscent of what Jim did at Stanford to compete with USC. And ultimately passed them. And when every year you would come back and you would think, okay, well, at least until SC got bad, but you would think, okay, they're going to get him this year. And then they really didn't. And, so they're going to try to bully them. They're going to believe that they are the stronger team mentally, that they are the superheroes.
Dear online threats, after all the time we spent together, I'm finally ready to say goodbye. I have to admit, I was careless. At first, I thought maybe you were not so bad. Then, after you moved into my software, I believed I was too weak to stop you. I was wrong. I can do better. So you know what? I have NordVPN now. See you? Never. Everyone can boost their digital confidence with NordVPN. All it takes is one simple click. NordVPN will block online trackers, hide your virtual location, and secure your device from malware-infected files during downloads. It will also detect malicious websites. So catch the Black Friday deal for a 1 or 2 year plan at NordVPN.com and get 3 months for free. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
The most likely matchup, according to FPI, would be the best Super Bowl ever. Our analytics suggest that the AFC champion likeliest is going to be
the Kansas City Chiefs.
And the NFC champion likely is going to be
the Dallas Cowboys.
You go back and you go into the hype, the build-up. I'm not sure what could be a better hype game than this would be if we get
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app.
I'm Pablo Torre, host of the podcast ESPN Daily. Every weekday morning, I will bring you the best sports story you'll hear all day. Today on ESPN Daily, you may remember the great sports imposter, Barry Bremen. And Jeremy Schaap is here to share the first part of Barry's wild and crazy life before the big twist. So follow us and listen wherever you get good podcasts.
The complete 30 for 30 library is exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Maya Moore stepping away from basketball to fight for justice.
My last name is Lee, Bruce Lee. Stream over 100 documentaries featuring the biggest names in sports, with titles including The Tuck Rule, Be Water, Lance, You Don't Know Bo, and more. The award-winning 30 for 30 library, streaming exclusively on ESPN Plus. Sign up now at ESPNplus.com or get the Disney bundle, including Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus to stream the best movies, shows, and sports.
Saturday on ESPN Radio. USC continues their pursuit of a spot in the college football playoff when they welcome surging Notre Dame to the Coliseum.
This rivalry for the last game of the year, and there's a lot on the line for both teams. There's a different feeling about this one.
15th ranked Notre Dame and 6th ranked USC. Presented by Dr. Pepper. Coverage begins Saturday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker. Saturday on ESPN Radio. The Oregon Ducks head to Corvallis for a showdown with their biggest rivals, Oregon State. A win by Oregon earns them a trip to the Pac-12 championship game.
I love rivalries in college football. This is certainly one of the great ones.
9th ranked Oregon at 21st ranked Oregon State. Presented by Dr. Pepper. Coverage begins Saturday at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker.
SEC football fans love their Saturday rituals, and SEC Nation loves being a part of them. Join Tim Tebow.
I'm excited for this one, guys.
Jordan Rogers.
Hey, Dirt, baby.
Roman Harper.
This is what I do every week.
Paul Feinbaum.
You guys ready?
And me, Laura Rutledge, for every incredible moment before kickoff. Because we're SEC Nation, and we love it here. SEC Nation live from the University of Alabama. Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Presented by Region on the SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Bart Scott and Alan Hahn are Bart and Hahn.
Forecast calling for snow totals of 3 to 6 feet. 3 to 6 feet in Buffalo, including possible thunder snow.
Well, you know, Mean Gene, we're going to go in that cage when I pick him up above my shoulders in front of 78,000 in front of the Pontiac Silverdome, and I host him up, brother. I'm going to have all my Hawkamaniacs getting that big, mean old giant over my shoulders, and I'm going to raise them all the way to the top, and I'm going to press them, and I'm going to drive them through the ground, brother, and then I'm going to run to those ropes, and I'm going to hit them with these 44-inch thighs as I come over that neck, and I pin them for the 1, 2, 3, brother. What you gonna do with Hulkamania in the Thunder Snow Sticks? Run wild.
Thunder Snow Sticks.
Barton Hahn, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can listen and watch on the ESPN app.
And adding a little dash of spice to this is I don't think that Jim and Ryan Day will be vacationing together on the New Hampshire shore or maybe somewhere in the Upper Peninsula in the off season necessarily. That's not really going to be a situation that occurs, is it?
It is not. So there's actually some game day chatter on emails and texts today about trying to prepare and set the stakes for the show, right? And nothing sets the tone for a rivalry better than, I wouldn't even say it was a shot, because that makes it sound like it was a jab. I mean, Harbaugh, when he won last year, took a haymaker right at Ryan Day. It is something that actually cut right to the core by saying essentially he was, bored on third base without hitting a triple, meaning Urban Meyer handed him, a Lamborghini and he just kept driving it. Now, I would think, especially when you look at this team, Ryan Day's recruited every one of these guys. There might be an odd 50-year alignment or something like that. But, when you talk about C.J. Stroud, Travion Henderson, J.T. Tuimoloau, did I get that right?
Yep, Tuimoloau.
When you look at the Tuimoloau, Marvin Harrison Jr., when you look at these, this is Ryan Day's program now, and it is humming along just fine. But Ryan Day comes from pretty modest background in New Hampshire. When he was 9, his dad died of suicide, and he's a blue collar guy and a blue collar kid. He prides himself on that. So, knowing him a bit, I've not we haven't had Ryan Day isn't the kind of guy I have a deep philosophical discussion about something like that, but just knowing his DNA and who he is and where he's from, that stung. And that is the kind of thing that is going to drive the program. Ryan Day is one of the most competitive people I've been around. He is viscerally competitive. And so I will be curious to see how that manifests itself, but it certainly set a delicious tone. Usually Harbaugh's pretty defiantly boring too. You know what I mean? He didn't drop a whole lot of those, right? This isn't Lane Kiffin. So It was interesting that he decided to do that after, quite frankly, getting manhandled for 3 straight years. And then it was the COVID year.
But when he does, they're interesting because, he had the comment when Urban was there that wherever Urban goes, controversy follows. I think he has raised question about how much on-field instruction was going on during the offseason at Ohio State. So when he does say something, then there was the famous, what's your deal with Pete Carroll. So when he does, it usually sticks. There are a couple things there that stuck out to me about what you said. It was a haymaker that Harbaugh threw at him about the third base thing, but it is true that he was handed the keys to the Lamborghini. But what people don't realize is that it takes a huge talent not to run the Lamborghini off the cliff. We've seen that happen plenty of times. And, Ryan Day, it is his program, and he is an elite coach, and he's capable of winning national championships and building programs. It's one of the things, to be fair, that I said about Lincoln Riley when he took the USC job was that he was handed a really good program. He drove the Lamborghini beautifully. Now let's see if he can go to the garage and build one. Well, he ordered a whole bunch of parts and put together a really good one. Ryan Day
came Amazon Prime too because of the
yes, he did get him immediately. And, Ryan has been able to do it through recruiting. Lincoln did it through the transfer portal. He'll eventually do it with a combination of both, I'm sure. And I think the game that Riley's Trojans have with Notre Dame on Saturday night, there are similarities in terms of stylistically how the two teams want to play with Notre Dame and USC that you see in Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan needs to be physical, run the ball, control the tempo. Notre Dame hopes to do the same thing against USC and maybe throw the ball to the tight end a lot, not just because they have Michael Mayer, but because in USC's only loss this year, they gave up 16 catches to the tight end, Dalton Kincaid of Utah. So I think there's some similarities stylistically in whether you're going to see a Michigan win or if you're going to see a Notre Dame upset in USC in terms of how the game needs to be played.
Yeah, and I think in the same realm, now there's not a lot of dynamism in Notre Dame's pass game, and other than Mayer, who's going to get triple teamed. Although USC hasn't been able to stop very many people, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what they do to Mayer. But the goal of Notre Dame, much like the goal of Michigan, is to keep the ball out of the hands of the guy who's going to be one of the top 2 quarterbacks picked in the NFL draft in their draft year. Caleb Williams is either going to be the first or second. CJ Stroud or Bryce Young is going to be the first or the second in this draft. So you need to rely heavily on your run game. One of the cool things about Notre Dame this year is they brought back Harry Heastan, the old O-line coach, and they have 2 huge, massive, young, talented offensive tackles, Alt and Blake Fishers. And they were not ready to start the season. They played like young players at a position where it's hard to play young. And they played like inexperienced players. And I think that's been one of the wholesale changes is they've just grown up and matured like you do when you play 10 and 11 football games together. And I think that they've been able to carve an identity through that Notre Dame run game. And if they can do that against the USC defense that hasn't been able to stop anybody, run, pass, moat, like they haven't, they have been, USC's defense has been as porous as advertised, but credit Alex Grinch, they figured out a way to have one more than everybody but Utah. So it will be interesting.
They take the ball away or they take it when you give it away. That's the one thing they do defensively.
Yes, they will let you. They will if they don't turn you over, they will let you score to turn you over because that's pretty much how it's gone.
You can stop me if no, you can't because we're on a podcast. But if I've told you this story before, when Spurrier was at Florida and he had Bobby Pruitt, the Marshall head coach, as his defensive coordinator. They went to Ole Miss when Tuberville was there in the throes of NCAA sanctions, completely, outmanned team. And Tuberville was trying to, run the ball and slow the game down and control it, keep Florida's offense off the field. So they start the second half, and, Ole Miss is moving the ball, and they get 3rd and 3, they convert. On, first down, second down, 3rd and 2, convert again, 3rd and 6. Oh, they threw a pass. They got 7. So now the clock's going tick, 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 tick. It's, dwindling away third quarter, and the Gators haven't touched the ball. And so Spurrier walks up to Pruitt once, doesn't say anything, turns around, walks away. Now they've eaten up like over half the third quarter. They're still just at about the Florida 30 or 35 or something like this. And Pruitt told me this story years ago. And Spurrier walks up to him again, doesn't do anything. More time runs off the clock. They get down to about the 25, and Spurrier walks up to him the third time. And according to Pruitt,
with other lenders, it can feel like they're calling the wrong plays. Not Cross Country Mortgage. They're the masterminds behind perfect play calling. Go with them, and your home loan experience will end in a victory parade in your new neighborhood. You're the perfect free agent to sign with the best loan originators in the game, and Cross Country Mortgage is dedicated to getting it done. Reach out today at ccm.com. That's ccm.com.
Equal housing opportunity. All loans subject to underwriting approval. Cross Country Mortgage LLC. NMLS 3029. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
At the Home Depot, we have plenty of Christmas trees to make your holidays even more magical. Hundreds of full, easy-to-assemble artificial trees that look so real, you may be convinced they actually are. And for those who love that fresh pine smell, we have a parking lot full of fresh-cut trees to call your own. We'll even help you load your tree in the car so you can bring home the holidays. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ILLINI. Cheer on the Illini at Pia's. The pregame fun starts at Pia's Sports Bar and Grill. Pia serves up its famous 10-ounce Slugger Burger along with great wings and so much more. Enjoy 350 22-ounce light and course light drafts every home and away Illini game. Watch the game at Pia's. You'll find it all at Pia's with live video gaming, sports, food, drinks, and fun. See you at Pia's, West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
PDR Automotive in Urbana is a locally owned repair shop, and they've now serviced over 250,000 vehicles in their near 50-year history. Now, that's more than 4 times the size of a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It's more than all Division I athletes in the country combined. That's more than the entire population of Champaign County. That's more than, well, you get the idea. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Have you been to Pards in Urbana? Well, you need to go to Pards in Urbana. Here's what people are saying. Great customer service, friendly staff. They treat you like family. I love Pards. I was very impressed. Great service, very neat store. I was greeted and asked if they could help me. That's why you should go. Check them out. It's Pards in Urbana. They're between University and Maine. It's on Maple. Pards in Urbana, or visit pards.com. Pards.com. Flowers equals smiles equals happiness. Think love with flowers. The Blossom Basket florist can put a smile on everyone's face with a beautiful spring floral creation. Let their flowers make you a hero. Flowers are always affordable for all occasions, from simple to simply magnificent. Visit them online at blossombasket.com or come into their store at 1002 North Cunningham Avenue in Urbana.
The Blossom Basket florist, the florist you pick.
Have. And not in some way where we're desperately trying to squeeze a group of 5 team in. No, this is legitimate brands playing for legitimate playoff opportunity. This is something especially the casual college football fan should absolutely enjoy. In 60 seconds, what that all means for what's next.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Everyone can boost their digital confidence with NordVPN. All it takes is one simple click.
NordVPN will block online trackers, hide your virtual location, and secure your devices from malware-infected files during downloads. It will also detect malicious websites. So catch the Black Friday deal for a 1 or 2 year plan at NordVPN.com and get 3 months for free. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
I still think USC has a real shot at the college football playoff. If they end up winning their way out, winning the Pac-12, it's going to be interesting to see where they place in all of this, because I understand the logic that whoever loses between Ohio State and Michigan would still have a very good case. But conference championships are supposed to matter, right? It's the same conversation we have every time we talk about 2 SEC teams moving in. It's, well, what about conference champions? If USC and Lincoln Riley and the popularity of their brand and the way they're playing football, if we can forgive their lack of defense, if USC goes in and wins the Pac-12, I'm not sure that there's a way the committee can leave them out of the college football playoff. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Jay.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.